Hey friends, I'm Henry with BrainStormAcres. I'm going to start putting this stuff together. I know what kind of connectors I need. I'm still looking. I'll find them. But I can start putting things together and figuring out what else needs to happen here. Now you may recall that Irene's business involves casting of jewelry items and other accessories that are used by historical reenactors. That's the reason why we're assembling this digital vacuum wax injector for her business. Casting with lost wax involves making a master, which Irene has done, making a mold out of either rubber or synthetic rubber or RTV, and then using that mold to inject with wax so that you can then put that into a flask, surround it with a type of plaster, let that cure, put it in the oven, and burn it out for 8 to 12 hours to get the wax to come out and heat the flask up for an actual casting. Well, the creation of waxes is one of the more time-consuming steps in that process. Now, yeah, it takes time to run a burnout oven, but mostly that runs by itself. It takes a little bit of setup, and because we live off-grid, we produce our own electricity. I'll go check the burnout oven periodically just to make sure that everything is running right. It's possible that we could have an interruption in our power that could cause that burnout oven to reset, and I don't want that to happen because then you have to start everything all over again. Start the burnout process from the beginning. Not a good thing to do. So this wax injector should really help because there's a lot of molds that Irene has that are difficult to get good waxes out of. They have intricate spots. Some of them are larger than a jeweler would produce. She makes a bronze bottle opener that looks great. People really love it. It's hard to keep in stock, but it's really hard to produce good waxes to use in the casting process. Well, hopefully this machine is going to help with that process. This right here is the mechanism that will clamp the molds together so that the wax injection can happen. It's held to the unit by a couple of screws. You have to put the wax pot and the vacuum chamber onto this base. I'm going to tighten these screws in the back. It's intended to hold this unit together so it won't separate when you're using it. I repositioned this unit so that the feet on the bottom clear this base that it's going into. The screws that hold this together are a machine screw with a hex cap. That just means that you need to use an Allen wrench to put it together. And these are metric screws, so you need to have a set of metric Allen wrenches. Now I've tightened those machine screws so that this unit should stay together just fine. It's heavy though. This whole thing probably weighs about 60 pounds right now. There's an air pressure regulator that gets attached to this control unit. It's shipped with the mounting bracket turned backwards so that it fits in the package in the smallest amount of space. I'm just turning that around using this plastic nut that's on the top. There are two screws on the side of the control unit that will hold that regulator in place. Unfortunately, when they designed this holder for the regulator, they did not make a spot for a screw head to go through without removing it from the control unit. So you have to take that apart. Well, at least you have to take the screws out. My screwdriver is magnetized. That means it'll be easier to put these machine screws in. There's one started, and now for the second one. When you're assembling this kind of equipment, especially when it comes from China, you need to be careful of not to cross-thread screws into the unit. The screws that they put into the case are very short. That is, it's not a full depth thread. And that's easy to cross-thread. The problem with cross-threading is that it messes up the threads and that it makes it easier for the screw to be pulled out.
When I get down there, I will have a couple of other labels I'll pull, but I'll leave them only after I've cleared the stuff out. May have actually taken out the other pots that had other things in them at this point. Like this has basil. And these are all tomatoes. This mess here is peppers. I don't know if they survived or not. This was Thai basil. Yeah, everything else is peppers. I used a bunch of the other pots. They're out in the yard right now, and they have garlic in them. Because we did not do well in here last year with our garlic, and we decided to kind of go back to growing it in the yard because we always did grow it in the yard. The only reason we weren't growing it was we were trying to get rid of the garlic bed.
I'm not going to tighten this down real tight. I'm just going to put it in place so that I can move it around. Now the control unit is intended to be used by a right-handed person. So it's mounted on the right-hand side of the casting box. Hi, Irene.
Hello. Folding laundry.
You should come take a quick look and see what you think.
Laundry time.
She says it's laundry time.
So what are we attaching? We got this together.
That's together. The control box has the regulator attached to it.
Cool.
The automatic clamp is attached to the wax pot.
Gotcha.
Now I can start connecting the various air hoses up to the right spot.
Right.
And there's a bunch of control cables
yeah.
that have to go together.
At
So
least it's marked, and it has like distinct markings. It's not like control cable. I mean, it's like they actually have.
no, they actually tell you what it is,
Yeah.
at least on the controller.
Yeah.
I don't see any markings on the wax pot, but fortunately it looks like I'm going to have 2 and 4 connectors on the wax pot
Right.
that will connect a very specific.
Right. And the instructions I saw in here actually looked like someone who knew what they were doing.
They're pretty decent instructions.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to the keyboard, we'll see. Because I've still got a couple of Chinese grow mats that I cannot change from centigrade to Fahrenheit no matter how many sets of instructions I find. So I just always ask Siri what it's doing.
Anyway, thanks.
It's good. Getting there.
Now the electrical control cables come bundled together to go between the wax pot and the controller. Since one cable has 4 wires, the other one has 2 wires, it's going to be pretty hard to mess this up. So I'm going to go ahead and sneak back here behind the wax pot and start assembling that. Well, I now have the control wire connected to the controller, and it's now attached to the wax pot. That's connected now. Both the 4-wire and 2-wire connectors are attached to the 2 units. One of the things I'll say is that sometimes when you get equipment from China, connectors are not of a premium quality, and these connectors are about mid-range. They're not great, but they're not terrible. It's good that the Chinese manufacturer of this product chose to assemble it with different connectors to go to different places. There are two conductor connections on the back of the control unit. Fortunately, one of the cables has a different kind of connector on the other end, and that connects to the clamp. That's connected now. Now connect it to the controller. We have 2 pieces, actually a total of 4 pieces of 1/4-inch air tubing to connect the various pieces of the wax pot and the controller together, because the way this is going to work is that the controller actually switches the vacuum and the air pressure, that's the compressor, to both the wax pot and the clamp. Well, I'm going to go ahead and spend some time going over the schematics for how the airlines connect very carefully. That's not something I want to mess up, because there's a limited amount of airline here, I have to put a total of 5 pieces, well more than that. I have 5 connectors on the control box. There's several up here on top of the wax pot. There's a number on the automatic clamp. I need to make sure I do that right. And what I might do is I might actually see about acquiring some more 1/4-inch airline. It's relatively available. If I mess something up, I'd like to have some additional supplies to fix my goof, because things can happen. Well, we'll be doing more about this system as I continue on. I have to go get order the correct connectors to go between the compressor and the control box. That's going through the regulator over here, and between the vacuum pump and the control box. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, because we have a ton of stuff that's going on. I have to get this done pretty quick because it's now on the critical path for Irene's business. We have a lot of things to get done. Business is picking up in large part because more historic reenactors are coming out and participating, and they want stuff. And an awful lot of people are new, so they need stuff. I got work to do. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, because we're definitely going to be doing lots more stuff. Thanks for watching. We'll talk with you later. Bye. Hey, keep on brainstorming. When this works, it will have saved us $10,000. Not chump change.